Hi everyone, it's Weister here. Today we are having a very unique topic. I don't know if you guys know about MBTI, the test system to basically determine your personality. There are 16 different options, and based on your answers, it could be one of them. And today I'm going to talk about my personality type and it related to gaming. So my personality type is INTP. If I would describe it in short, I would say I'm someone who is not afraid to be different. I'm not afraid of changing my opinions if others present something better. I'm someone who likes to think outside of the box. I'm quite open minded and I like to think a lot. I'm logical, maybe too logical. That's probably even the key word about INTP personality. And yeah, I like to analyze things, think very deep, and so on. Probably with this kind of things, sometimes there are also cons. For example, I tend to maybe overthink or overanalyze things. Also, sometimes it could be that because I'm not afraid to be different from others, I am not afraid to tell my opinions, even if I already know that others may not agree or whatever. It can sometimes maybe make me look as if I'm cold or as if I'm like an outsider or whatever, just because I don't care about being able to fit in as long as I feel like there is a good reason for me to stay true to what I believe in or whatever. I just don't care if I say something and everyone else thinks differently. But if I know I believe that, I'm still right to believe the way I think. And also, I believe that the way I think about something is correct, then I don't mind to be even the only one in the room to be different on any of the matters. Also, for example, something related to gaming is that sometimes when games don't offer me enough interesting things to do, I can quite easily get bored. I don't like tedious things. I like to, so to say, use my brain. This kind of games work very well for me. Maybe I should finish with the negative first because I hope there are less negatives than positives when it comes to my personality type. But yeah, another negative maybe that comes with my personality is that because I'm always analyzing things a lot and so on, I'm not sure if I should say that I'm able to spot or just I am spotting more like mistakes or things that are not logical, doesn't make sense, could be better and so on in games. So I usually just tend to think about different kind of details, and I usually have some solutions already in my mind. But you know, I'm not the one to create the games and so on, so I can't decide anything. But yeah, sometimes such things start bothering me when things just doesn't make sense. I'm not even always thinking like why the companies behind the games that I'm playing are not improving something, why it is the way it is, why they can't make it better and so on. But it's even a bit deeper. I'm just thinking, if I'm a company behind the game and I can clearly see that there are places that I can improve, and I'm sure that it would make the game better, and I'm sure it would be better long term, and it would bring me more income or whatever it is. And you know, most games, they do actually have all that feedback. And if so, then I'm just thinking, how come they are not doing something? How come they are so lazy? They're just sitting around and thinking that whatever they have will work forever. All these kind of things are just making me sometimes a bit frustrated. Another maybe negative that comes with my personality is that I'm quite bad at small talk. So I like to talk on deeper topics usually. And when I'm playing online games like MMORPGs and so on, then I notice that because people are so different, it happens quite often that our thoughts doesn't match, our preferences doesn't match, our perspectives doesn't match, and so on. And it's of course totally fine by me, but I'm someone who always likes to ask why. Sometimes people tend to feel, I guess, offended by it or attacked or whatever, as if why do they have to explain me something that's so obvious to them? But to me, I just like to get to know more. I'm especially curious about psychology and overall about people's behavior, their decisions, and so on. Where do things come from? How come someone became to think the way they do think about whatever? And because I'm always asking a lot, and also when something doesn't make sense, then as I mentioned before, I'm someone who is not afraid to say things the way I see it or whatever. I'm not saying others are wrong. I think they are totally okay to see or think the way they do, but I will not hesitate to add my own thoughts or opinions or whatever. And this kind of things quite often created some kind of conflicts between me and some other people. Not like too often, but there have been definitely situations over the years. It's not that I think that it's my fault, but it's more like because I am the way I am and they are the way they are, then sometimes it just doesn't match so well. From my perspective, I'm just curious and I like to know things, and I'm always discussing peacefully. As I said, my personality might be sometimes a bit cold and so on, and I'm too logical, which means in the opposite way, maybe sometimes I lack some empathy or whatever it is. I mean, I'm not feeling a lot, I'm thinking a lot. And for this reason, I may not sometimes completely understand why some people feel a certain way about me or about the things I say or do. So in that sense, I'm usually just answering from quite logical perspective, or I'm just approaching things from logical perspective. But I do understand not all people are into logic. They may think not everything has to be so logical all the time, which is totally fine. But yeah, it has created some issues. When it comes to more neutral or maybe positive stuff, or just saying how my personality sees or plays the games, then I would say my preference when it comes to games is to play a game that gives me freedom. At least the minimum freedom of choice, but even better if I can completely, I guess, create my own story or my own way to play, so to say. To have a lot of freedom is definitely better for me. I don't like really very linear games. And for this reason, I'm also usually not into stories and such. I like games where I can create my own character, where I have freedom to do this. I like games where I can build something. Again, when I have freedom to build. I like games where I can level up my character or whatever I would do with my character. I can do everything my own way. So very good example is Path of Exile. In Path of Exile, you can do so many different builds, and you know, if you don't follow guides, then you can create something very original. This is something I really enjoy a lot, and this is the freedom I'm talking about, being able to play my own way, come up with whatever I want to do in the game, And this is something that probably makes me most excited in games. This is also something that, for example, in Black Desert Online exists to some extent. It gives you, in some sense, a lot of freedom how you want to play the game. And I really like this type of games that allow me to play like this my own way, so to say. And in the end, it's a virtual world, and yeah, I don't like to be restricted in a virtual world as much as I am in real life, so to say. If I want to see a story, then usually I like to watch a movie or whatever. I'm not into reading books and stuff like this too because I have bad concentration. And I don't know, I wouldn't say I have bad imagination necessarily, but I like to come up with my own things, not so much about imagining what the writer wants me to imagine, so to say. For example, recently I'm really into Enshrouded and also Crimson Desert, and I feel like games like these give me a lot of freedom. But still, those games both are lacking something. For example, in Enshrouded, I wish there were more options how to customize my build. Also, I wish there was a character creator, or at least way better customization options. Because, yeah, to me, it's all about having freedom, being able to create my own story in the world that someone created for us. And in Crimson Desert, the building system, or well, there is basically almost no building system, but more like customizing your home, is not that great. And also, it's missing a character creator. But being able to play your own way, explore the huge world, and explore with different kind of builds and do puzzles and so on. This is completely my alley because I like to think. I like when games make me think. Of course, I don't like maybe necessarily too complex systems, like unnecessarily complex, where it's not even something you can logically come up to, but you just need to think some weird way to solve some puzzles or whatever. Then yeah, in this kind of games I lose interest also because I like when things make sense. I just don't like when things doesn't make sense, or when you cannot make so that things will start to make sense. Also because I'm very open-minded, and also because I'm rather logical, and I feel less less emotional. So in that sense, I think at least when it comes to online games, people should have an easier time with me. Like I don't get hurt so easily and so on. So they can have different type of discussions with me. But yeah, when it comes to maybe game developers and so on, so to say companies behind the games, then I think they could struggle a bit with me because I do sometimes give feedback and I don't know how they see it because I'm always giving very open and honest feedback. I'm saying things how they are, and I'm always giving feedback, not something only would benefit me, but I'm always thinking, is it something that would benefit most of the players? So in that sense, I think it's good, but yeah, at the same time, I guess sometimes I can be seen by the game companies as annoying because such things matter a lot to me. Sometimes I have contacted a support team behind Black Desert Online, for example, and I have told them about some bugs or whatever other concerns I have, and they have promised to fix those things, but sometimes let's say things didn't go as they told me it would, and this kind of things really bother me a lot because me as a player, if I'm being told that they will do something, then I'm expecting them to do, and I'm quite patient usually. For example, there was a ticket that took 1.5 years to finally get somewhere. They always kept saying they will do, and so on. Nothing happened. Well, actually, until this day, nothing happened, but they always said they will do something about it. And I don't like such empty promises. If they said they will, then they will. And of course, I kept returning to this ticket every maybe few months, asking how is it going, kinda. But I was always polite and so on, like respectful. But yeah, I really don't like when they don't keep their word or whatever. When things are against logic and so on. If they say something, they should do something. And I guess from this perspective, I can be seen sometimes a bit annoying to game companies. But overall, usually I'm keeping in mind that I want something better for players, but also for the companies behind the games. I'm usually not asking for something that benefits only one side, but both sides. At least that's how I see it. Overall, I would say I just like when things make sense, when things are happening in a way that they are kind of supposed to happen, I guess. But yeah, that's about it. A short story about me as an INTP gamer, and let me know your MBTI and your experiences as a gamer of your MBTI. But that's about it. Take care. Bye.